Good morning. It's Thursday, December 16th. We're loving the opportunity to show off the full World Watch program for you here on Top Story. Just take a moment to like and subscribe below to let us know that you're out there. Now, this is Top Story. U.S. lawmakers have voted to up the debt limit by $2.5 trillion and just in time. The bill passed only hours before the deadline set by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Last month, she warned that the nation was running out of wiggle room. The bill is now on President Biden's desk awaiting his signature. Raising the debt ceiling narrowly avoids a credit default, which would have a disastrous effect on the economy. The Senate and House approved the measure Tuesday and Wednesday, lawmakers mostly voting along party lines.
On this vote, the yeas are 221 and the nays are 209. The joint resolution is passed.
Last week, Republicans and Democrats struck a deal to fast-track the process. The borrowing cap now stands at $29 trillion, and lawmakers won't have to deal with it again until after the 2022 midterm elections. New York City getting a surge of new voters soon, passing legislation to allow non-U.S. citizens a vote in city elections. This includes green card holders, immigrants with work permits, and people in DACA. They just need to have lived in a city for 30 days and be considered legal permanent residents. Now, some 800,000 people in New York City will be eligible to vote in local elections, deciding mayor, public advocacy positions, city council, and so on.
They use city services, their kids go to our public schools, they are part of our community, and they deserve a say in local government.
This likely won't go into effect until 2023, and non-citizens still won't have a say in federal races. They can't vote for president, members of Congress, or in state elections. The bill passed with broad support in city council, yet many on both sides of the aisle expressed concerns, fearing it could severely reduce the incentive for people to become U.S. citizens.
I still have very mixed feelings about it. I think there are still some outstanding legal questions about the city's authority versus the states in this matter. But I respect the city council.
This legislation makes New York the largest place in the country to give non-U.S. citizens the right to vote, joining over a dozen other smaller cities. The fastest growing religion in the U.S. is none. A Pew Research Center poll published this week says more people than ever follow no religion. That number has grown by 6% in just 5 years. 63% of people in the U.S. still describe themselves as Christian. That's down 12%, though, over a decade. The number of U.S. Catholics actually held steady, leaving most of the decline to Protestants. The poll also held sad news in the category of prayer. Only 45% said they pray each day. That's down from 58% 5 years ago. And it's all, well, reason for prayer. A spacecraft has officially touched the sun. NASA's Parker Solar Probe flew through the corona, an atmospheric layer where temperatures reach 2 million degrees Fahrenheit. Parker was launched in 2018 and actually took its dive in April, but data analysis has just recently confirmed the achievement. The spacecraft flies at a speed of over 320,000 miles per hour and takes measurements of the solar environment from behind a heat shield. Parker's mission is to take samples of the particles coming out of our closest star, and we Earthlings have a keen interest. The sun's outbursts can do mischief with our magnetic field and cause electrical surges that put satellites out of commission, interrupt communications, and break power grids. The spacecraft will continue swinging around the sun, diving deeper into the corona until its final orbit in 2025. We'll have more on another exciting new NASA project after the break.
Additional support for World Watch comes from Heart of Dakota, providing Christ-centered literature-based homeschool curriculum from preschool through high school. Get a free catalog today.
For as long as humans have been around to gaze at the sky, we still know so little about what lies beyond. Kelly Bailey says NASA has high hopes its new telescope will change that.
This observatory will rewrite textbooks, inspiring the next generation of future engineers and scientists.
What price tag would you put on answers to some of the mysteries of the heavens? NASA says that knowledge is well worth the $9 billion cost of the new James Webb Space Telescope.
So it's often those unknown discoveries that excite me most, and I think we have no doubt that Webb will be providing those in abundance.
The telescope is set to take off next week on a month-long million-mile journey, including an orbit that goes beyond the moon. Scientists say the goal is to uncover the history of earlier galaxies, star formations, and whether or not other planets are suitable for life.
The whole reason we launch telescopes like Webb is that we know that planets of all sizes are out there, and we want to find ones that have similar temperatures and sizes as Earth to see if they could possibly be anything like Earth.
And how in the world do they plan on doing this? Well, it's not exactly rocket science. Actually, it is. Many cosmic objects, like stars and planets, emit infrared light. The cameras on the Webb telescope are built to pick up on that light, but in order to do that, the instruments have to be cold, very cold, -388 degrees Fahrenheit cold. Those big mirrors are built to block heat from the sun so those instruments can stay cool. This project combined the work of scientific minds from America, Europe, and Canada to create an observatory that's 100 times more sensitive than the Hubble Space Telescope. That trusty telescope was launched in 1990, and it's still delivering spectacular images of space. Hubble and Webb have the advantage over Earth-based instruments. They're free of the distortion caused by the Earth's atmosphere. That allows them to capture extremely high-resolution images with little available light. Hubble has led to many breakthroughs and new knowledge of space. NASA is hoping Webb will even exceed Hubble's performance.
The price of most everything went up this last year. So if your budget for Christmas gifts is tight, you're not alone. Michelle Schlavin is going the do-it-yourself route. What are you working on there, Michelle?
I'm just making some jewelry for the people on my list, Brian. And the stuff I make is pretty simple, unlike the work of this silversmith jeweler in Russia.
Dmitry Kuznetsov has been creating jewelry for 30 years, finding inspiration for his work in nature, bold flowers, bright red berries, or delicate leaves.
My favorite things are all sorts of peas, bindweeds, creeping plants, and so on.
And he actually uses nature in his jewelry, sometimes incorporating precious stones.
Here I have a beautiful moss agate, a winter landscape in a fir tree forest. You can make a necklace with it.
Kuznetsov often sketches a design like this, sometimes drawing an idea and setting it aside for a while before actually creating the jewelry. Other times, he just starts making a piece, because when inspiration strikes, you run with it. But lucky for him, there's no end to inspiration in nature, and while his designs are beautiful, how they are made is just as unique. Kuznetsov uses 3 different techniques when crafting jewelry. One process is called filigree. He takes thin threads of precious metal wire and then solders them onto jewelry in intricate designs. He also uses wax modeling and makumugane, a Japanese metalwork process. Now, how long it takes to make a piece varies, but Kuznetsov says he never rushes his wearable works of art. This dandelion necklace took him 2 months to make.
You can do such a piece in a day, or you can do it over several months without stopping. The faster you make jewelry, the more profitable it is, but it's not always interesting from an artistic point of view.
The market for custom jewelry has been good in recent years. More people seem to want something one of a kind instead of jewelry that's mass-produced and mainstream. So those who can afford to pay a bit more look for ways to stand out, and often are drawn to unique custom-made pieces like Kuznetsov's designs.
There's smoke, but finally no fire on the Spanish island of La Palma. It seems Cumbre Vieja, the volcano that just wouldn't quit, may have finally given up after 85 straight days of spewing lava and ash. The volcano has now gone 2 days without erupting. There has been no new seismicity or deformation. Experts are hopeful but cautious that this may be the end.
There is a sense of optimism, but until 5, 6, 7 days have passed, we cannot say for sure. As hours go by, we are more encouraged and more certain that this volcanic process has finished.
3 months of eruptions have forced thousands from the island and destroyed nearly 3,000 buildings. You can see a church tower poking out through ash and cars buried up to their windows. Now begins the gritty process of cleanup for the residents of La Palma. Make sure to check out the full site at worldwatch.news. You can try out the show free for a month. Have you checked out our merch store yet? It's time to find your new look. Start shopping at merch.worldwatch.news. And don't forget to snap a photo wearing your new gear for social media. And remember, whatever the news, the purpose of the Lord will stand.